Hello, Jessica.
Hello.
It is wonderful to have a new Downton Abbey book. Now, you've done 2 in the past, then you took a little break, and now this one, scrumptious book. Where did the idea come from?
Well, we had a new publishers in the UK, so we had a very enthusiastic new team, and they wanted to do something different. You know, in the same way as the past, that we wanted to wrap everything up together in the sense that I talk about the show itself and how it's made and the historical context. But what was different with this one was, in the meantime, since I'd written the first 2 books, I'd done a lot of public speaking. I'd done all my talks around America, particularly. And I just really noticed that people, they love watching the show, but it's more than that. You know, I think they want to almost be in the show, and they want some of the show back at home. So I'll do a big talk, and hundreds of people will turn up in 1920s outfits, you know. And you hear about Downton Abbey parties, and, you know, there have been endless Downton Abbey spoofs on YouTube, and people make Downton Abbey puppets, you know, and all the rest of it. So I thought, well, we'll make it easier for people to really, you know, have some of the show in their own lives. So it's more interactive. There's recipes, there's ideas for games that you can play, there's tips on how to curtsy properly and all that kind of thing. So it's kind of more engaging and more fun, I think, in that way.
You talk about being involved with the show. How involved do you get to be with production when it's actually going on?
No, I'm not at all involved with the production.
You don't go to the set, you're not around, you're not peeking in on it?
Yeah, no, I definitely hang around. But, I mean, you know, Julian doesn't need any help at all when it comes to the script. And everybody on the show is so professional and so good at what they do. And now, you know, having done it for 5 years and about to go into their 6th, I think, you know, what's great is that because the show moves on and because history moved on at that time, it always feels very fresh. There's always, you know, a bit of a new look for everybody, the new things that were happening at that time. It was a very fast-changing time in history, which is why it's so interesting for me to write about.
But I ask you about being around it and being actually at the set and seeing them. When you then watch it on television, can you get swept away by the grandeur of the story, or do you see yourself there off to the side? Do you see the lights and all of that, or do you really get seduced?
I get totally swept up. I get totally swept. I'm very starstruck on the set. You know, I think all the actors, having watched them as well not since the very beginning, because I didn't go on set to the very first series because we didn't know then it would become this phenomenon. We didn't know that we would be writing books about it. But, you know, nevertheless, you know, when I first met them, they were kind of young actors. It was all very new, and they've really coped with it all very well. They're incredibly nice, but they're such good actors. I mean, almost none of them are like their characters, so you're able to get very lost in the story. I mean, on set, it's a different thing because you're very conscious of the fact that you're working, and there are so many crew. There's 50 or 60 crew on set every day, so you know you have to be very careful not to get in someone's way. But they do such a wonderful, wonderful job.
Before I let you go, you did say that they are going into the 6th season. You have published this book now. Is there another one in your mind? Is there going to be another Downton book from you, do you think?
Yeah, there's a couple more that I'd really love to do, believe it or not. I managed to find more and more words to say. But again, you know, as the show goes into 1926, the history gets really interesting. You know, everything is still changing, and I still think there's a lot of different avenues that Julian can be exploring with the characters. So I'd love to be doing that with him.
Well, Jessica, thank you so much. Again, a lovely book, and thank you for chatting with us.
Thank you so much.